Hello, it's Tristan here from Zebra Invest, and today I want to run through alternative to something like PropertyBee, PropertyTracker or PropertyLog. So if you've never heard of those names before, why they're useful and what they actually do, I'm going to jump right into it and explain how these little pieces of tool can be fantastic for when you're using Rightmove, Zoopla or on the market to be able to work out whether you've got a motivated seller and to see what you can actually do with a deal and get a little bit of history and background on that property. So when you're making an offer, you're well informed and you're going to be able to get something across the line really easily and, well, hopefully really easily, and you're going to be able to get some great deals. So PropertyBee Tracker and PropertyLog are all apps that all link into something like your Chrome plugin or into Chrome, or they also link into Firefox. And the idea is that when you go onto Rightmove, Zoopla or on the market, it overlays data. And so what it's going to do is going to give you a bit of the listing history. So it's going to give you a bit of background as to what's been happening and what's going on. So that can be where there's been price drops, how long it's been on for, and then you can see whether, previously before, if it's had a drop, sometimes people actually increase it. And the reason it's useful is you can see how motivated maybe a landlord or an agent is to try and get that property shifted. Because if they're trying to, sometimes you can see where they've actually put the price down, up, down, up, down, up. And that's a trick used by some agents or lettings agents to make it look like a property has had a reduction in price when the price actually stayed the same, to get emails sent out to all the prospective buyers out there to make sure they're calling them up and they're drumming up interest. But you can also see where a price has dropped over time, and then you might think, well, they dropped it, they've just had a big drop there, so there might be more interest in selling it. So it's a really interesting way to get the history of what's going on and how things have tracked over time. But the only downside with PropertyBee, Tracker and Log is they're all based on data of the users who are using it. So if you're a heavy user in your area, you're going through, you're scrolling through and seeing everything else, you're actually helping them build out their database for all that information they've got. But whereas something like PropertyData, and there's a couple of other tools out there, they actually go out there and collate all that information and save it on their system. So they've got far more information, and they see when all those drops have exactly happened and make it a lot more useful. Also, the other bit is with PropertyBee, Tracker and Log, over time their plugins get outdated and they're free software that are designed by volunteers who are helping people get out there to help with their property investment journeys. But the data sometimes gets out of date and it's no longer supported. So PropertyData, which I'm about to show you, is a great alternative to this because it gives you a lot more data, a lot more insight to what's going on. And it also plugs into the area around it to give you a little bit more information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Property Tracker, and I'll also show you PropertyData to show you the difference and what you can actually do with them. The great thing about Property Tracker is it is free, whereas PropertyData is obviously paid. But whereas PropertyData gives you a lot more information. It's like I've just put up these bullet points on here, and you can see we've obviously got the average selling price, rental data, rough yields, capital growth, SDLT, and price drops. And you'll see in a second why I think that information is useful, because it also means you can work out whether you can buy below market value almost straight off the bat without even having to think about it. So let's just jump in, and hopefully I'll just be able to head over. So I opened up a couple of little pages just showing like PropertyLog and what that does. So PropertyLog will go through and it tells you when the price has dropped when it's been picked up before. And it used to be able to pick up the old sold price change history, but it's a useful tool. It's not the best out there, but it is a useful one to have. Personally, I think it's blooming ugly. The other bit you've got is something called Property Tracker. Unfortunately, the page wouldn't load on my computer when I went to give you this as a demonstration, but I'll give you a little quick overview and show you how that works in a second. And then there's something here called Property Gun, which looks like it's another paid subscription that helps track it and tell you roughly what's going on in the market as well. But none of them, in all honesty, are quite as good as what I'm about to show you. I'm biased, as you know, but I think this is a really cracking piece of kit. And you can see even that, you know, people have done comparison for other alternatives out there. So what I'm going to do is just go to my little plugin section here on the right hand side. As you can turn bits on and off. So hopefully I'm just going to go to manage extensions. Hopefully this doesn't scare you too much, but it's just what's going on in the background on my computer. But now if we head over to Rightmove, what we'll be able to do is find a bit more information about these properties. So let's say, for example, we're going to go over to Newcastle. Someone the other day was telling me that Newcastle is a fantastic place to invest. Personally, I've never been there, and you might, you know, never been there, so I wouldn't know. But apparently it's a great place. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to search in this area. I'm only going to base it on, say, 3-bedroom properties. And we're just going to click find properties. So we've got quite a few results there. So the first thing that you're going to see come up in a second once my computer's loaded is you'll see, unlike most adverts, I have this little calculator here, and on the side of it I have this little arrow, and on the arrow it tells you when the properties prices have dropped, if there's been any reductions or movement. That there is a tiny drop, and the idea is it just gets it notified so it goes out to everyone again. And that's why they feature it. You can see here where it has like the flat level, and the flat level just means the price has stayed the same ever since it's been listed. As you come down here, you've got another one that says it stayed the same since it was listed. This one, you know, had a 50 grand price drop. That's a fairly reasonable discount. But you can still go through it and you can see roughly this information is fairly useful. But the other bit that's probably, I would say, is more useful is, let's click on this one. We know it's had a price drop. Pop inside it. And here it's going to give you where to buy the price in a second. It's loading 2 things. So here it's got my property tracker, which is free, just in here. And that's just giving you when it was dropped. The more interesting bit that you would have seen has come up on the right hand side. So there's 2 bits here that I think are really interesting. You've got the actual property postcode. Why is that useful, Tristan? Well, there's 2 things actually. In another video that I've done, I've explained how you're able to find a full property address using the postcode and its sold data. So then you're able to work out where the full property address is. You can find that on my YouTube series. I might even do another little video to recap how you can do that as well. But the main bit is on here is telling you far more detail than it would tell you elsewhere. So look, it's telling you roughly how much property sell for per square foot in the area, so £280 a square foot. Roughly how much a 3-bedroom property in the area is worth, so what its sales data, what they rent for, and then that's giving you a yield, and it's also telling you how much capital growth it's had over the last 3 years. And with that, it's giving you the current SDLT calculation. And with that, it's telling you roughly, and then look, you can see here when the price goes along, when they've tracked it, seen it hit it, and then when the prices have dropped. The other bit you can do is you can click this and click View Report. That goes straight into the property, tells you how much it's been dropped, and you wouldn't be able to do this using most plugins. So it's telling you what's happened, how house prices have moved, and it's giving you all the comparable data as well, so you have a rough idea for how much you think it's going to be worth. You can also do this, so you can click, so you can get your stamp duty valuations, development calculator, I think you're going to turn it into a completely different type of property, and then it also does plot map, and I'll show you that in a second. But as you come down, you get more, obviously, the standard details that you've got from here. You've got all that going on the top. But that little plugin here is just giving you a lot more information than usual. And hopefully, unfortunately, they haven't done it for us. But you could also work out, if I go back to another property, hopefully we'll find one where it's told us what the square footage of the property is. So let's come down. Say, for example, here, look, here we go. It says 1,400 square foot. This one's has been dropped in price there. You can see that's one. That's on the property tracker. And here you can see it had a drop there at the very beginning. Hasn't really moved much since. It's a bit of a better rental yield there in the area. But the main difference is here, look, it says that's just shy of 1,400 square feet. Someone would take 1,400. But what you do, sometimes if you click into something, then this little section disappears. But it's saying it's £238 a square foot. So if I open up my calculator, it's 238 and it's just hidden behind my face. There we go. So 238 times by 1400. So, you know, that's what it's saying the average price of that property is. So in this case, obviously that's probably well over what it's actually worth, just on the initial outlook. But you might turn and look through it and think, well, you know, anything else in the property? But it gives you a really good idea for what you can actually do with it in the first place. What on earth is going on with that ceiling? But the other bit is where I clicked on that plot map link, it also allows you to bring up a, you know, an OS map version of all the properties. So you can see all the properties that are in the area. And that's usually quite good if you want to work out how big a property site is, or is there anything else you can do with it? Is there any development potential there? If you click on it, you can see how big the plot is as well. And the other bit is I've only just literally just dropped on here, but you can see I've just clicked in here and you can see that there looks almost like there's a building plot just around the corner from it. So it can sometimes be a really interesting way to drill down and find details. I said building plot, someone else says tennis court. You know, it's a completely different neck of the woods to where I live at the moment. But you can really see how you can find other interesting properties by doing that. And so that's what I think makes the PropertyData plugin a head above the rest when you compare it to what's available out there. This is just simply giving you really basic details in PropertyTracker. And then in PropertyBee, again, they're giving you similar kind of thing. And they're not really helping you out too much. So hopefully that gives you a great idea for what alternatives are out there. If you would like to take a look at this a little bit further, I can explain where you can head on over to my either a video series or to a discount code that I've got running for this that will allow you to access that and be able to deep dive into your property investment opportunities that you're looking for. So I hope you found that useful, and I'll catch you later. Hey guys, thanks for spending your time going through the Secret Sauce series and watching the video there. Hopefully you found it jammed packed full of information that you can action, go out there and really start getting property deals across the line. As you know, or you might not know yet, this is part of the Secret Sauce series. So every week you can have 2 videos sent straight to your inbox explaining how you can go out there and find great deals. So that could be anything from how to get deal sourcing, how to find properties below market value, stuff where the property size are way too big for the area, and how you can negotiate down a great discount so you can do maybe like a title split. If you're out there looking for rent-to-rent deals, that will show how you can quickly find out demand, stack the deals, and to be able to get them right through. But we've done a whole series of this, and the idea is you can get emailed each week with all the little updates going through there. And we've got some fantastic little tools and ways to get around finding investment deals. So all I want you to do is, if you'd like to keep receiving these videos that we're creating, this is all completely free content. If you head over to Cutly, cutt.ly/Zebra Invest, capital Z, capital I. When you hit that page, there's going to be an email sign-up form. What I want you to do is just enter your name, what type of property you're investing in, what type of deals you're doing, and roughly what you're looking for. That's going to help me to work out what kind of content to put out there, create to help you along your way. And then what we're going to do is send out a fantastic series of videos exactly like this one in our Secret Sauce series to really help you get going and get your property deals coming across the line and hitting your goals. I hope you found this of help. If you've got any questions, comments, or anything else like that, leave them in the below or pop me an email, which is tg@Zebra Invest, and I'll see what I can do to help you. But thank you very much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.